So there's this trend that you've probably noticed with Gen Z, which I think isn't talked about too much. It's the simple fact that Gen Z might not be dressing for success. Let me explain. If you visit a high school campus or a college campus, you'll notice that Gen Z, a lot of them are just wearing pajamas. And we're going to talk about the ramifications and what all this means. It might seem pretty silly at first, but if you dive a bit deeper, it could be a lot to uncover. So, this popular TikTok from a foreign exchange student at an American high school gained millions of views on TikTok. They were just going around their school, going from hallways to classrooms, basically just documenting their day, just realizing that everyone seemed to be wearing pajamas. And if you take a look at what teachers are saying, take a look at Reddit, just talk to teachers in person, you'll notice and you'll hear that a lot of students are just simply not caring about what they're wearing. They're just going to wear the same pajamas that they woke up with. Now, it's been around 7 to 8 years since I was in high school, and I remembered some students would wear pajamas, but it was never to this extent. Not literally every single student wearing pajamas. Now, here's where I think this could be a problem. We're starting to see more stories and more companies and corporations come forward and say that a lot of their Gen Z and younger workers are not dressing for success. Simply put, a lot of them are underdressing themselves. They're wearing just PJs, pajamas, they're wearing workout clothes, athleisure to work. And that could be a problem, especially when you're trying to uphold a company's image. You coming out in your pajamas that you just woke up with probably isn't the best look for that company. Now, I don't want to sound like a boomer here, but I really think that, this is kind of a problem. This kind of goes to show how the mentality and mindset of Gen Z is currently, that they're just wearing pajamas wherever they go. They're not really caring too much about their appearance. Now, it's not everyone. A lot of Gen Z, they're very fashionable. They're wearing some pretty cool clothes out there, a lot of cool fashion trends. I'm talking about at least maybe half of Gen Z. There's no numbers here that say how many of them are wearing pajamas to work or school, but I would say it's a good bit of them. Just go to the grocery store, go to the mall. You'll see a lot of these Gen Z students, a lot of these Gen Z kids, people are not really dressing to the part. I do know this is a huge societal trend in the country. The younger generations, they tend to pick up on these trends and they start to adopt them. They mold them and they kind of inhibit their culture. A lot of you guys probably have experienced this, but you'll go to a restaurant and you'll see someone that just looks like they just woke up out of bed. They're wearing sandals and they're wearing, very rough shorts. They're wearing a shirt that has like stains all over it. Not the best look, when you're literally spending like $100 or $50 per plate and you're going to a restaurant.
The thing you can do is wear your pajamas, your PJs outside and come back home and get in the bed. Because 9 out of 10, those people who wear their pajamas outside, they ain't coming home and washing them. They come back home to lounge around, get in the bed, all that dirt outside, exposing your clothes, get in your house, come in and get in the bed. That's disgusting.
We're having cases where employees are now returning to the office, or they have over the past year or so. They're now requiring their employees to take these etiquette classes. So these etiquette classes will have anything from how you should talk to your fellow employees to how you should dress to go to work. And it seems like it's becoming a very popular, unfortunate problem where a lot of these employees are showing up to work not really dressing the part.
A male team member was like, oh, I didn't realize we were wearing our pajamas into work nowadays. And I was like, excuse me, this is a silk set. He was like, oh, how much was it? Like $100? I was like, oh, how dare you? This isn't polyester. This is silk. It was fucking $100, my ass. Look at this. Stunning. Stupid idiot.
I think we've seen a huge shift, over the past 5 to 6 years here that basically makes it completely okay to just wear, whatever you want in public. You can just wear anything that you just woke up with in public. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, right? You can wear whatever the heck you want. But when you're showing up to school or you're showing up to work and you're dressed like that, you're representing the school, you're representing the company. And it seems like Gen Z doesn't really know how to deal with this. Now, I think a lot of this stems into students being disinterested in learning. So they're wearing their pajamas to high school. They're really not wanting to learn too much. They're already showcasing that they're just there to basically just be a body in the classroom. They're not really in the moment. They're not really in the zone. Now, I'm sure there's some students out there that are geniuses that, can get straight A's while wearing pajamas, but those are the minority. There's not too many of those. Usually, we have a lot of these students that are wearing pajamas. They're not really caring too much to learn or to go to school. They're kind of forced to go to school. Of course, that's the law. It really goes to show how our youth population in the country is kind of going about the world, not really giving a care ever. It seems like a lot of these students are not really interested in their own appearance. When they go to school, they're not really interested in learning. Therefore, they're really just interested in trends that are not even in their scope of influence. And I think that's really scary. That's a really scary trend. When you see tiny little trends like this start to pick up, it really kind of paints a picture of everything that's going on right now. We are seeing a lot of celebrities come forward and kind of push for this athleisure or pajama-like appearance, which is totally fine, but those are celebrities. They have a totally different job than normal people would. Most people, have to attend a job every day. They have to dress the part. But if these students can't even do that, then it seems like they won't even be able to succeed in any role that they do if they can't even simply, put on some jeans and a shirt. And instead, they're just waking straight out of bed, getting on the bus, and going to school. Probably not really learning much and just honed in on their phones. Now, I don't think the solution is to make, dress codes mandatory, although there have been some studies that have come out and said that mandatory dress codes actually do help certain school districts, and especially in kind of lower income areas, kind of get higher test scores and more engagement. I think that's kind of just a band-aid to the issue. If we truly want these students to stop showing up to school in pajamas, then we should probably tell them just what should be expected of them in society, in their future job, if they're able to get one. You can't just show up to pajamas anywhere you go. But it seems like this is becoming the new normal. There's a reason that TikTok got millions and millions of views. People were kind of flabbergasted. People could connect with it, and people could really resonate with everything that was in that video because they've seen it themselves over the past few years. And like I said, this isn't something that's really been talked about too much over the past few years. It just seems like the professionalism expectations of schools in the country has just dropped off a cliff. I bet a lot of our older viewers, those that went to school in the 70s and 60s, they wouldn't dare show up to school in pajamas. That would be probably an instant suspension. That would be a lot of consequences to that. But when you have the entire student body, half of the student body that's wearing pajamas, and it seems like schools can't really do too much in that scenario. If a teacher or administrator would tell a student, hey, you probably shouldn't wear pajamas when you're attending a public school, that parent could probably get really angry and very volatile and, threaten to fire that teacher or administrator. That's exactly what's happening in a lot of cases. And we have students showing up to school just wearing pajamas. That really, really showcases exactly what their motivations are and their lack of motivation in this case. We're even having instances where people are taking pictures of people that are wearing pajamas and Crocs to the gym. Are we kidding me? Pajamas and Crocs to the gym. That just seems really gross considering you probably sleep in those pajamas and you're in a gym where, people sweat and there's a lot of different smells going on. It's going to be funky in there. And you're wearing pajamas. That really goes to show just how a lot of people nowadays really don't have, good personal hygiene. It seems like they don't have good etiquette, good dress etiquette. Going on Reddit, you can see a lot of people agree with the sentiment that you probably shouldn't wear pajamas wherever the heck you go. But what do you guys think? Do you think students wearing pajamas to work or to school is a very negative trend in our society, or is this completely just boomer talk and this is kind of blown out of proportion? People can just wear whatever the heck they want. Let me know in the comments section below. Be sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. It helps us out, and it helps shine a spotlight on stories like this. Lastly, we'll be back with another video this weekend. It's going to be a very interesting one, so stay tuned for that. And finally, stay informed out there.